My name is Akpo Pius Ukelina. My ID number is ANG13A001561. I am studying electrical and electronics engineering. I'm doing a presentation on two successful people in electrical and electronics engineering. First person is Alan Dewey Lonely. Alan was born on 29 June 1903 in Hampstead, London. His future career seems to have been determined by the age of 7 when he presented his father with an invoice for repairing doorbell. His sister claimed that he could not read proficiently until he was 12 years old. He replied, "No, but I knew a lot of quadratic equations." After matriculating at Highgate School in 1921, he studied at City and Girls College. He won a government scholarship and joined the second year of the course. He graduated with a first-class honor BSc 2 years later. In mid-1930, Alan met Doreen Lane, a preparatory school teacher, 5 years his junior. After 2.5 years of courtship, the two were married in 1933. In 1924, Allen started his first job at International Western Electric, a division of Western Electric Company. The company subsequently became International Standard Electric Corporation, and then later on Standard Telephone and Cables. During his time there, he measured the amplitude and frequency response of human ears and used the results to design the first waiting network. In 1925 and 1926, Alan and John Passy designed an improved form of loading coil which reduced loss and cross-talk in long-distance telephone lines. These were used until the end of the analog telephone era. The same duo also invented an improved form of AC measurement bridge, which became known as Allen bridge. These two inventions were the basis for Allen's first two patents. In June 1937, Allen patented one of his most important audio inventions, the ultra-linear amplifier, patent 496,883, dated 5th June 1937. A deceptively simple design. The circuit provided a tap on the primary winding of the output transformer to produce feedback to the second grid, which improved the amplifier's linearity. With the tap placed on the anode end of the primary winding, the tube could be connected as a triode, and if the tap was at the supply end, it could be connected as a pure pentode. Allen was so central to the development of the H2S airborne radar system that after his death in June 1942, many believed that the project would fail. However, it survived, and was a factor in shortening the Second World War. Allen's role in the project was a closely guided secret at the end, and subsequently only a brief announcement of his death was made some 2 years later to avoid providing solace to Hill Stiller. His invention of the line tag pulse modulator was a major contribution to his high-powered pulse radar, not just the H2S system, and continues to be used today. Outside of his work, Allen was a lover of music, and he attempted to learn play piano, but gave it up. He enjoyed horse riding and occasionally went quail hunting with his father-in-law. He was interested in many forms of engineering, including aviation, motor engineering, and railway engineering. He obtained a pilot license and flew Tiger Moth aircraft of the London Aerodrome Club at Stag Lane Aerodrome. The second person I'll be talking about is Edwin Edward Armstrong. Armstrong was born in New York, New York City in December 1890. Edwin Howard Armstrong was an American engineer and inventor. He was being called the most prolific and influential inventor in radio history. He invented the regenerative circuit, which was an undergraduate, and patented it in 1940, followed by the super regenerative circuit in 1922 and the super receiver in 1918. Armstrong was also the inventor of modern frequency modulation radio transmission. He studied at Columbia University and he later became a professor at Columbia University. He held 42 patents and received numerous awards, including the First Institute of Radio Engineers Medal of Honor, the French Legion of Honor, the 1942 Franklin Medal, and the 1942 Edison Medal. He is a member of the National Inventors Hall of Fame and the International Telecommunication Union roster of great inventors. At the age of 8, Armstrong contracted a disease that was known as St. Vitus dance, which left him with a long life tick when excited or under stress. Because of the illness, Armstrong was withdrawn from school for 2 years. In order to improve his health, Armstrong's family moved in 1902 from the Upper West Side into a house at 1302 Warburton Avenue in Yonkers, which overlooked the Hudson River. The Smiths family moved into a house next door. Armstrong's physical tick and the years he was removed from school led him to become withdrawn. Armstrong showed an interest in electrical and electronics devices, particularly trains, from an early age. He loved heights and constructed a makeshift radio antenna tower in his backyard swinging on a bosom chair. He, he would hewed himself up and down the tower to the concern of his neighbor. In late 1970, Armstrong was invited to join the U.S. Army Signal Corporation with the rank of captain and was sent to Paris to help set up a wireless communication system for the Army. He returned to the United States in the fall of 1919. During its service in both World Wars, Armstrong gave the U.S. military free use of his patents. Use of this was critical to the Allied victories. Unlike many engineers, Armstrong was never a corporate employee. He performed research and development by himself and owned his patent outright. He did not subscribe to conventional wisdom and was quick to question the opinions of his professors and his peers. Even as the regenerative circuit lawsuit continued, Armstrong was working on another momentous invention. Working in the basement laboratory of Columbia Philosophy Hall, he invented wideband frequency modulation radio. Rather than varying the amplitude of a radio wave to encode an audio signal, the new method varied the frequency. FM enabled the transmission and reception of a wider range of radio frequencies as well as audio free of static, a common problem in AM radio. Armstrong received a patent on wideband FM on December 26, 1933. In 1922, John Carson of AT&T, inventor of single sideband modulation, had published a paper in the Proceedings of the IRE arguing that FM did not appear to offer any particular advantage. Armstrong believed to demonstrate the advantage of FM radio, despite Carson's skeptical reasoning in a now famous paper on FM in the Proceedings of the IRE in 1936, which was reprinted in August 1984 issue of Proceedings of the IEEE. Today, the consensus regarding FM is that narrowband FM is not so advantageous in terms of noise reduction, but wideband FM can bring great improvement in signal to noise ratio if the signal is stronger than a certain threshold. Hence, Carson was not entirely wrong, and the Carson bandwidth rule for FM is still important today. Armstrong quote. Armstrong quote goes like this: I could never accept findings based almost exclusively on mathematics. It isn't ignorance that causes all the trouble in the world. It's the things that people know that isn't so. Thank you.